So one of people's biggest problems in fantasy football is you guys suck at drafting. Every year, people fail to avoid drafting the wrong players, either at the wrong spot, their situations are bad, or they're in a backfield that is slightly contentious, and you just don't know what you're going to get out of them. Every year, year after year, you lose fantasy football because you don't learn from prior year mistakes. So what am I talking about? You drafting running backs in 2025 that you shouldn't be drafting. So for this video, I am going to discuss the running backs in my fantasy football drafts, every single one that I will be avoiding in 2025. Don't believe me? Look no further than last year to see the exact running backs that I'm talking about. Christian McCaffrey, Travis Etienne, Rashad White, Raheem Mostert, Zamir White, Zach Moss, Javonte Williams, Jonathan Brooks, and Devin Singletary. People knew that they weren't in great situations or being drafted too higher. New people were added in the draft. This stuff wasn't taken into serious consideration, and they were still drafted on a lot of people's teams. But I have a solution for you. I have spent the time, I have done the research, and I will save you however much time and give you the answers in this short little video on who you should be avoiding at the running back position this coming season. First on the list is Saquon Barkley. He's going as the RB 1, 2, or 3, depending on where you're drafting. Oh, I feel bad about this one, but it's the truth. Everyone else is on YouTube is talking about it, but again, it's the truth. The man has too many touches, too many touches, too many touches. Saquon has a history of getting injured. Too many touches with injuries equals good potential for him missing a portion to a sizable chunk of the season next year. The other big issue that I have is that people are drafting him, especially if you're taking him as the RB1. People are thinking, oh, another 2,000-yard season incoming. Well, I don't know if you knew this. No other running back in the history of the NFL, and I do mean the history of the NFL, has had back-to-back 2,000-yard rushing seasons. So the chances of Saquon Barkley doing that, I would estimate to be about 0%. I cannot justify taking Saquon at the number 1 spot. I can't justify taking him as the number 1 RB. I do not believe it. I do not see it. And if I am wrong, so shall it be. I'd rather take Jameer Gibbs or Bijan Robinson anyways. The next on my list is Ashton Genty. The gentleman is being taken anywhere from RB 4, 5, or 6, usually on average, depending on where you're drafting. Oh, what a good situation he's in. Man, he was drafted high. Draft capital behind him. Man, he looked good in college. Got some bad news for you, though. It's not about Ashton Genty. It's not about where he could finish. It's not about anything other than I cannot justify drafting him as the 4th, 5th, or 6th best running back overall in fantasy football. Why? Because he has about an 8 to 10% chance based on historical data where he was drafted to be a top 10 running back in fantasy football. If he was being drafted as the RB 12 or 13 or maybe even 11, I could jump on that, feel good about it, feel happy about it. But when you are taking him that high, he has got to be the number 1 player on your team or 1B player on your team. Do I see a world where he could accomplish it? Sure. What are the chances? Like I said already, 8 to 10%. Can't do it, won't do it. Will not be drafting Ashton Genty this year. If I was you, I would avoid him. Just like people forgot about last year, Marvin Harrison Jr. as pick 12, 11, 13, 14, and look how that turned out for them. Not very well. The next person on my list is RB20, and that is Omarion Hampton. Okay, so let's wrap on why I'm not an Omarion Hampton guy. First of all, you're drafting him as an RB2. Could he finish as an RB2? Maybe, and that's hard maybe. Why would I avoid him though? Well, it could be the fact that the Chargers last year sure seemed like Harbaugh and Herbert were on the same page and they wanted to pass the ball a lot more. But Ethan, you say. Harbaugh always loves to run the ball, and Omarion Hampton's a great talent. Okay, fine. Let's just say that the last few games of the season last year for the Chargers, that's not what they want to do next year. Let's say that they want to run the ball a lot. Okay, well, if that's the case, well, I mean, that would make sense. They did pick up Najee Harris. Wait, who's going to be the number 1 running back for this team to start the season? No, it's going to be Najee Harris. As we know, Najee Harris stays healthy. Najee Harris could very well likely be the goal line back, stealing touchdowns from Omarion Hampton. So if that's the case, okay, well, Ethan, he could come on at the end of the season. By the end of the season, he could be outpacing Najee. He could be the number 1 running back, and he could easily be a running back 2 overall. Maybe he could be a running back 1. Okay, I hear you. I hear that argument. How about this? Watch the tape on Omarion Hampton. Saw him play at UNC. Saw him play against lower competition. So what did I see on tape that you can't argue? Guy's not explosive. Guy doesn't break tackles against actual real big kid defenses. Guy doesn't really look all that great on tape. I'm going to confidently tell you that on tape, Omarion Hampton is underwhelming to say the very least. So what does that mean? You can argue everything else if you want to, but I have stacked multiple reasons of why I will be avoiding him. But the one thing you can't argue with me on is that you should be avoiding Omarion Hampton when you draft this year in fantasy football. The next person on the list is Aaron Jones, coming in at RB 22. Okay, so I have a couple issues with Aaron Jones. It's not his situation necessarily as far as like the offense. I think Kevin O'Connell and that team is going to be great. JJ McCarthy withstanding. Don't know what I'm going to get. Don't really care. Too many weapons. Good offense. So then what's the problem? Okay, well, first of all, Aaron Jones unfortunately likes to get injured. Don't trust that. Don't like that. He's getting older. Not my favorite thing in the world with a running back, especially somebody that I'm taking as an RB2. Second problem that I have, the Vikings made a choice this offseason to bring in Jordan Mason. Again, we do this thing, you guys do this thing, where you forget everything that happened the year before. We're acting like we forgot Jordan Mason was a RB1 or fringe RB1 basically the entire time he was healthy and Christian McCaffrey was gone. They didn't pay him and bring him in for him to not play or just back up Aaron Jones. So what are the chances that he, gets some work here and there the first few weeks, Aaron Jones goes down. Let's say Aaron Jones goes down for 2 weeks, 2 games. You can't convince me that Kevin O'Connell is not like looking around and like, okay, this is our guy. Clearly, like, sorry, Aaron, but you could be the third down specialist, but Jordan Mason's going to be first, second down, and goal line running back for this team, and we're going to go a lot farther with him than we were with you. The only way, if you draft Aaron Jones, that I would give you a shred of credibility would be if you pair him and handcuff him with Jordan Mason. If you miss that opportunity and you do not get Jordan Mason but drafted Aaron Jones, consider that a pick that you wasted in 2025, and realize when you don't win your championship, probably should have followed this advice. Next, we have Caleb Johnson. This is more of a frustration, and I will avoid him because of it. You are taking him in drafts before Jaylen Warren. I'm going to tell you confidently that when Jaylen Warren's healthy, he is going to outdo Caleb Johnson and run circles around him. Can also confidently tell you that 2 years ago he ran for just under 1,000 yards when he was splitting reps behind Najee Harris, who never gets injured. He's going to be over 1,000-yard rusher. He is going to be a viable first, second, and third down running back. So how in God's name are you going to convince me to draft Caleb Johnson when Jaylen Warren is sitting there after him on my draft board? I will absolutely be smashing Jaylen Warren and running and avoiding Caleb Johnson like he is the plague. There's no shot. There's no chance. His tape wasn't anything crazy. Don't love the school he played for. I don't like where he was drafted. Nothing about it sounds good. It makes me feel warm and fuzzy inside. So if you want my advice, whether you want it or not, you're watching this video, so I guess you're getting it. You should draft Jaylen Warren and skip Caleb Johnson. The last running back I have on this list is Travis Etienne. Reason for me wanting to avoid him is the same reason that I want to avoid pretty much the entire Jaguars backfield. I do not know who's going to be starting. I don't know who's going to get the majority of reps. I don't know if it's going to be one series here, one series there. I don't want to touch it with a 10-foot pole. I don't want to take him as like long shot RB3, RB4, whatever. Don't like the situation. For all I know, Tank Bigsby ends up being the lead back or Tootin ends up being the lead back. What I'd rather do is avoid the first 2 guys that come off the board and let me take my deep shot on the third guy off the board. So I will not be drafting him because of the ambiguous backfield and just not knowing what I'm going to get out of it. So my advice for you is when you go to draft day is to rewatch this video the day before. And if you're unsure about running backs, hammer it again and again and again and again until it's hammered into your brain. You remember who you're not supposed to draft, who you're supposed to avoid. Because again, if you want to win in fantasy football in 2025, you need to be avoiding these players. Maybe you don't have a problem with RB. Maybe you smash RB, but you suck at wide receiver, you suck at tight end, you suck at QB. guess what? Good news for you. If you made it this far in the video, number one, like, subscribe, do all that fun stuff, comment. Threw that in there real quick. Woo! Slid that in. Number two, I will be making follow-up videos about wide receivers, QBs, and tight ends. So if you suck at drafting those spots, I will tell you who to avoid and who to not draft in 2025 for those positions as well. Hopefully you guys enjoyed the video. If you want something to change, if you want other videos, if you want me to compare, do this, do that, let me know down in the comments. It's the only way you're going to see what you want to see. And hopefully I see you guys again. Actually, just kidding. Hopefully you guys see me again real soon. Until then, have a blessed day.